Welcome learners. We are beginning our journey together on this NPTEL course called Foundations to Entrepreneurship. Today I would like to, in this lesson, cover the basic concepts in innovation and entrepreneurship. They are very big words, so I usually shorten them to INV, which is for innovation, and ENT for entrepreneurship. And when you combine them together, INV .ent is the word invent. Just one small trick that I use. I love both these words, which is innovation and entrepreneurship, but more than liking the words themselves, I like and respect what they do to impact society. So, in this lesson, we will just get a sense for what are these terms that we use, what does it actually mean, and even more than just understanding the terminology, we will understand the process of how we get entrepreneurship going. So, I know that you listened to me when we spoke about why entrepreneurship and why now, and I am happy to welcome all of you to this Foundations of Entrepreneurship course, because entrepreneurship is very important in the national context. We need job creators like you. Young people like you should be job creators. You can be job seekers also, but India needs job creators, and in that context, educating you, training you, getting you to understand how to do an innovation and how to do a startup is of great pleasure to me. It's a great honor as far as I am concerned. So, let's start with 3 words which sometimes are not very well understood by students, and even if they are understood, or people think that ये मेरे बस की बात नहीं है, this is not my cup of tea, but that's not true. That's because we all incorrectly understand what is the meaning of creativity, what is the meaning of innovation, and what is the meaning of entrepreneurship. Creativity, let me start with the first word. Creativity, many of us believe that creativity is about painting, is about art, is about sculpture, is about making movies, is about writing scripts. All of that is creativity. But let me give you the definition of creativity. Creativity in the context of entrepreneurship, in the context of innovation and entrepreneurship, is the discovery of opportunities. That's the first step that all of you will have to do if you want to do a startup or when you want to do a startup. You need to discover opportunities, and in the following lessons, we will show you how to go about discovering opportunities, how to identify problems. So, creativity is the discovery of opportunities. That's the first and foremost part of creativity. The second part of it is generating new ideas. Once you have seen a problem, once you have seen an opportunity, you want to find a solution to solve that problem or to address that opportunity, and that's what creativity does. So, creativity is art and painting, but as far as you and I are concerned, creativity is about looking for new opportunities, looking for problems to solve, and brainstorming and coming together with people to come up with bright new novel ideas so as to solve the problem. So, the output of the stage called creativity is new ideas. Yeah? And my fundamental background is as an engineer, but more than an engineer, I believe I am a very inherently a rational human being. It took me a fair bit of time to understand the emotional part of business, and you will see a lot of that when we do branding, when we do marketing, when we understand customers. But what I meant to use here was, I like to think of things as a continuum. I like to think of input, what happens in that process, and what is the output. So, in creativity, the input is our eyes and mind and brain and thinking and heart and so on, where we listen to the world, where we look around and spot ideas. We spot opportunities, we spot problems, and we come up with ideas to solve these problems. That's what the phase of creativity is about. The second phase is innovation, and in innovation we wear our rational hat and we evaluate these opportunities. We refine the ideas and we keep iterating till we get to a stage where our product or our solution is in a prototype form, and even the business model of the company is in prototype form. All of these are terms you should not get worried about, because all of them are going to be covered in detail as we go forward. Business model is how a company makes money, prototype is the initial product that a company comes up with before they come up with the final product. If I have to do a watch, I will take some time before I get to the final watch. We will first do a sketch with our hand, then we might do some machining in our labs, then we will put in a movement and see how it looks. So, a prototype is where the form, meaning how it looks, and the function, how it works, start coming together for any product that we are doing. So, the innovation process ka output, the end of the process, is having a prototype of our product, what we wish to build, and having a sense for what is our business model, who are we going to sell it to, what are the channels of sales that we are going to use. All of those are part of the business model. The third part is called entrepreneurship, and here we say that we exploit the opportunity, and exploit is not necessarily a bad word, is not necessarily a negative word. Exploitation of opportunity means we spotted the opportunity. We are the entrepreneurs, the inventors, the innovators who spotted that opportunity. We came up with a solution for that opportunity, and now we will take it to market and exploit that opportunity. We will create value for the customer, we will create value for our company, and this here the output is new product in a current business model or a new product in a new business model to be able to make an impact in the marketplace. Yeah. So, again there are new words here, which is value. We will spend almost an entire 6-7 lessons on value. We will spend 2, 3, 4 lessons or maybe more on opportunities. So, this is just an introduction, and the objective of this slide really is to make you realize that while these words may seem bada and creativity certainly feels like ye mere bas ki baat nahi hai, that's not true at all. Creativity means discovery of opportunities, innovation means evaluation and working on those ideas, and entrepreneurship is about taking those ideas and going to market. Yeah? So, that is the creativity, innovation, entrepreneurship cycle. What is facilitated by? There are science and technology trends that keep happening, people keep inventing. I am sure in today's world all of you know LLMs or large language models. You may not know the exact term, but you may be using Google's Gemini, or you may be using ChatGPT, or you may be using any of the others. Those are different products of LLM, which are large language models, and these were created because technology was moving in this direction. So, we were doing artificial intelligence, we were moving from manual work to automated work, and today's world is moving to autonomous work. What is the difference between automated? Automated means a human being turns some key and a machine does the work, that is automation. In the future, machines will tell other machines to do work, and that is called autonomous, apne aap se, autonomous, without having perhaps a human in the loop. So, current biggest thing happening in technology or even in every use case in life is AI. AI is being used in healthcare, AI is being used in education, AI is being used in finance, in every walk of life to make our boring jobs, our repetitive jobs become faster and being done by a machine rather than by a human being. So that human beings can do the thinking, creative, innovative, entrepreneurial kind of jobs. I was giving you this example of LLMs or generative AI to tell you that science and technology keeps inventing things, keeps creating things, and then we go and look for use cases for them. And you will hear a lesson on AI and the use cases, because AI's use cases are some things that y'all could form startups over. So, what the intent of this was to say that the continuum of creativity, innovation and entrepreneurship is fueled, उसको energy मिलता है, उसको power मिलता है, उसको घी मिलता है by science and technology trends, and the end goal is to meet the needs of the society and to meet the needs of the marketplace. So, technology is a tool to serve society, technology is not an end in itself. Yeah? So, this is the creativity, innovation, entrepreneurship continuum. I am going to focus most of my energies in this lesson on innovation and entrepreneurship. So, here is one person's explanation of innovation, and I like it, so I brought it to you. It is the combination of having a vision. Innovation means something new has to happen. It can't be the old ghisa pita stuff, it has to be something that is new. So, a vision to create a good idea. Yeah? So, currently a student team of mine is pursuing trying to make a tandoor which does not use coal, because coal has ill effects on people, and also currently I think a couple of governments have banned the use of coal in restaurants and dhabas and so on. So, the idea is, the problem is coal is not good for human beings, causes respiratory issues. How can we get the same feeling or same fragrance or flavor of food which is cooked in a tandoor without having to use coal for it. Yeah? So, that is an idea, and the vision, this student, the vision comes from not wanting to see people suffer from lung issues because of coal. That is the purpose. The purpose this student team is working on is to rid Indian society, or more importantly the Indian labor that is employed in using coal as a power source, as to remove their respiratory problems, or by not having to depend on coal at all. They are currently working on the idea. They have a very preliminary, बहुत early stage prototype they have built, but they need to have the perseverance. Perseverance means diligence, means lage raho munna bhai. So, it is about just go at it, keep going at it every day, to have the perseverance to take this idea to market. Okay. So, innovation to me is the combination of invention, making something new. Invention happens in labs, starts with an idea, happens in a lab, or happens at your home with things that you put together. But the more important word after invention is adoption, which means people have to put money down and buy that product. Just inventing a non-coal tandoor is not enough. The dhabas and the fine dining restaurants and cafeterias and whatever kind of places where the coal tandoor is used has to replace their coal tandoor by this non-coal tandoor for our idea to be called an innovative idea. Innovation needs both things, which is an invention which is scientific or technological, and it needs adoption, which is by customers or by society. So, you should start with invention. Some of you will start with first finding out the customer problem and then inventing. Some of you may be, more oriented ki chalo lag jate hai, let's put a product together. It could be coded, it could be a digital product which is an app, and you are saying we will go and find customers later. Both things work. Innovation can start from customer or a need, and innovation can start from science or technology, which is we will create the solution and then go looking for a use case or a problem to solve. This is the role of innovation. There are various categories in which innovation can happen. The easiest I will find to explain to you is the first one, which is a new product or a new service. So, the tandoor example is a new product, the Gen AI example that I gave you is a new service, those are innovations. The generative AI example over the last 1 year has completely changed how all of you are studying. Many of you are using help of LLMs to study, not just to do your assignments, which you definitely use LLMs for, but you are using LLMs to tell you more about some topics that you want to understand in greater detail. Now that we have understood what innovation is, which is invention, the science and technology behind inventing something and consumers adopting it, let me take you through some categories in which innovation can happen. The first is the easiest to understand, which is called new product or service. And here, whether it is that non-coal tandoor or this clicker that I am talking of, or the generative AI service that is currently being consumed by all of us in the tech world today, actually not even in the tech world, across the world today, those are product innovations or service innovations. Please understand that when you use AI to make your pictures look better, that is also part of Gen AI. Okay? So, many of these are to do with you are already using them, you do not even realize how pervasive, how universally accepted Gen AI or LLMs have become. So, that is an example of a new product or a new service innovation. Lots of work happening in new raw material, and this raw material could be to do with lighter material for aircraft, could be to do with material that can be used inside the human body and it is safe, biosafe as it might be called. There are materials that people are working on such that our electric vehicles, this is lithium ion, better versions of it, such that our electric vehicles can last for a longer time, can get more power, more storage for a longer time, longer distance. So, materials is a very big thing that is happening, whether it is to do with cost reduction or it is to do with improvement in performance, even that is innovation. A new market. So far we have been selling only in India, we now want to go to Asia, the rest of Asia or Europe or the United States. Those are expansion markets and those are called innovations. It is a geographical innovation. Sometimes we build in new processes for making the same thing. Those are called process innovations. For example, let us say in a chemical plant, A and B and C were making X, 3 items were making X, but we found an enzyme which made sure that we do not need 3 raw materials, 2 are enough, we catalyze something. So, we can change processes such that the results are better for the customer, lowered pricing or better performance are resultant benefits for the customer. The last one we called is a business model innovation, and the one I will tell you quickly and we will cover that later is when all of us started shopping online. That is a business model innovation. There were new products. The products were the same. The sari that I was buying was similar set of saris or watches or mobile phones or whatever. Instead of going to a shop and spending time and getting stuck in perhaps traffic, we decided it is simpler for us to buy online on some websites. That is called a business model innovation. So, it is not necessary that if you are going to do a startup or you are going to do a startup within a large company, you need to innovate on all of these. You need to innovate on one dimension, perhaps max 2 dimensions. You do not have to work on all of these dimensions, but all of these are options for creating new products from or new processes from or new raw materials from. Innovation can be imitative. Imitative means copycat. उसने ऐसा बनाया, I can make the same thing. If I can make the same thing cheaper, then very good. If I can make the same thing and it costs the same amount of money, very little value in that. But if I can imitate something which is, and I can get it to market faster, or if I can imitate something and make it cheaper, those are good ways to be. Okay? Incremental innovation, very easy to explain to you using an example. So, all of us on our mobile phones have cameras. I do not even know what is the megapixel of the camera today, but it started perhaps at 1 and it's probably reached some 40 or 50 or some number like that. So, that is called incremental innovation, which is there is a base, I improve on that base and make it faster. Yeah? That is also called Moore's law, and we will cover that somewhere in the later lesson. Moore's law says that in the same chip, a chip is a semiconductor electronic chip, the number of transistors will double and the cost will become half, because innovation is moving on both directions. I will come to Moore's law a little later. Incremental is about small increments. We were at 5, we go to 6, and over time we will build it to 30 or 40 as the case may be. So, that is called incremental innovation. Evolutionary innovation, just a word, it is one generation better. It is not just thoda better, it is no longer 19 Bs or 18 Bs, it is no longer incremental in nature, but it is almost one generation better, and that is called evolutionary innovation. In the example of the camera in the mobile phone, the front camera was an evolutionary innovation. The pop-up camera, night camera was an evolutionary innovation. Radical, some of these go between evolutionary and radical, and the last one is revolutionary. Revolutionary usually is something that is ahead of its time and very few people adopt it. I have circled out two, which is evolutionary and radical. Those are the innovations that you could focus on, which is not incremental but a big delta, and sometimes radical, which means on a different axis. People are innovating on the camera, maybe I can innovate on some other dimension of the phone. Those are the places where you deliver the highest value to the customer, and therefore you are able to generate value for yourself, and you will be seen as an innovative company or an innovative startup. The innovation process works like this. So, let me start with the problem. It is not the first word. The first word is insight, the second word is problem, the third word is solution, and the fourth is business model. And if you notice, they are like a process, one comes after the other. But if you notice the blue circles, they suggest that you move forward and sometimes you go back. Sometimes you move one step forward, but you need to go back and do some correction. So, this is called an iterative process, means a process that gets repeated. It is not that you start and you finish. You make so many mistakes that you have to keep going back and correcting. So, correcting or iterating is what the innovation process is about. I find that it is easiest to start with a problem. There is a couple of problems which are dear to my heart, so I speak about them in my classes. One example I take is of loneliness of our senior citizens. That is a problem that I have identified, and I feel that it is something that I would like to work on. I am not talking about healthcare for senior citizens. I am talking of loneliness of senior citizens. And there, what is the insight? The insight that, and I have done a little bit of thinking on this, and I think the insight is our children grow up, our children do well in life. We are very proud and happy of our children who do well in life, but doing well means going away from where they grew up. And the insight is the person who leaves, which is the younger generation, feel guilt, the older generation feel loneliness. That is the insight. Is there some way that some of us can solve this problem by coming up with a solution? I am not going to describe the solution here, but I just wanted to understand what is a problem, what it could be an insight that is driving it, and how can we solve that by coming up with a solution. In my mind, the solution for this problem that I have identified is recreational daycare for senior citizens. You may have heard of daycare or creche for young children, because both their parents go to work and there is no one to take care of them at home. So, they go to a daycare center. So, similarly, what stops us in creating a daycare center for senior citizens? But the daycare center is not for taking care of their health needs, but to take care of their emotional needs and to give them company so that they do not feel loneliness. How do I do the business model, etc., we will come to, but I wanted you to understand what the problem is. Loneliness is the problem. The solution in this case, that is the idea I have, I do not know when I am going to do it, is a recreational daycare center for senior citizens. The insight that I would like to leverage, or the insight जिस पे मैं अपना business base करना चाहती हूँ, is that senior citizens feel lonely and their children feel guilty. So, I would like to use that somehow to create the solution and to create a revenue model. I am not doing this for charity. I want to do this as an entrepreneurial venture. So, how can I take this and make money? Money is not a bad word at all. Making money is a good thing. If you do not make money, your business will shut down. You will not be able to pay your employees. So, you do have to make money so that the business continues. You have to provide service, not to the whole world, but to the people that you wish to provide service to. So, this is how the innovation process works. You start by looking at a problem, figure the insight, go and find the solution for it, create a business model such that the customer gets something out of it and the company gets profit out of it, so that this loop can continue and continue. That is how the innovation process works. For me, the innovation process is a combination of science and technology pushing in one direction and the customer pulling. So, when the market or the customer pulling, so some things start as a scientific idea or a technological innovation. The example is LLM or Gen AI. What could be a market pull is this small idea I just shared with you of a senior citizen and them being lonely. That could be a market pull. If I could do a digital version of it, it could be very high tech. I do not think I am interested in doing a digital app to solve loneliness. I want to solve the loneliness problem by doing something in physical, in real space. But everybody does not have to think like me. I am just using this example to tell you what market pull means and what science push means. And if both comes together, like in our mobile phones, consumers want them, companies are continuing to innovate, and technology is giving us better and better phones every day. There is so much fun in that from the customer and for the company. Please do not believe that the company making profit is at the expense of the customer. No, the customer is also getting something for it, otherwise the customer will not put down money to buy it. Yeah? So, this is what innovation delivers. The role of innovation, if I can summarize for you, it is a 2 by 2 matrix, where on one axis we have the objective. The word ends means objective. What is the objective of innovation? And here is the means is the methods. So, if you use old methods and you want to create the same old products, you will get existing products which are current or existing products. Yeah? If you use old methods, meaning you have not changed your process, but you want to create new products, you will get new features or you will get new versions of the product. Yeah? So, the camera example in a mobile phone. If you continue to use old objective, as in you want to create the same old product, but by new methods, you might get higher efficiency, you will get cost reduction. But if you combine a new process, a new method along with a new end product, you will get a breakthrough or a radical innovation. And I will bring this alive to you immediately in the next slide with an example. And this is an example of music that I have used here. Some of you may not even have seen what the old method was. The old method was called a CD. Music was burnt on CDs. Most of us today are digital music, so we don't even know what this is, but music used to be on CDs. So what is the process improvement? By process improvement, we got higher and higher efficiency. The same CD could take more and more music. There were layers created, which is a technological part, but the essential part was price kept coming down for customers, and more music got recorded onto the same CD itself. Yeah? If you use the same old methodology and wanted to create new products, people created audiobooks. Instead of just music, people recorded people reading books, and those became audiobooks. But the breakthrough in audio came with iTunes, came with digital recording, and came with what all of you today are using, which is whether it is Gaana or it's YouTube or it is Spotify or just streaming music. So this is what innovation-led entrepreneurship looks like. You create an innovation, it is radical or it is breakthrough, and you take it to market. Consumers are delighted by it, and your company happens to make a lot of money with that, and so everybody is happy. It's a win-win situation. What was the innovation? The innovation was looking at the same need and looking at the need for music, but delivered in a different form. The form was no longer the CD. In fact, I could have gone back and talk to you about cassettes, but I didn't. So it was not the same form, which was the CD, but a completely new form, which was digital, and the process changed as well as the end product changed here. So look around you and answer a few questions which are about, answer questions like, what are you seeing today which was not there 5 years back? So when you are in your home or you are walking around in the market, just look at things with this question in mind: did this exist 5 years back or not? And you will be surprised at how many new things have come up. Go and have a conversation with your grandparents or your parents and ask them about things that they had which you perhaps haven't seen at all. This shows you what is the pace of innovation, and trace it for mobile phones. Some of you have not even seen landline phones perhaps, so ask for what landline phones looked like. Look how music was listened to over the last 40 years. Even look at how education happened over the last 40 years. You will find that we are all living in fast changing times, and a lot of the betterment, what has made my life easier, what has made my life more satisfying, easier, has been to do with innovation that inventors like you, that passionate entrepreneurs like you have brought to market. I look forward to many of you becoming innovation-led entrepreneurs and taking new products to market. We will start our new lesson where we will talk about entrepreneurship. Thank you.